Hare Krishna. Dear devotees and pranams, thank you very much for joining in for our teachings of Queen Kunti study session as part of our Srimad Bhagavatam, understanding in greater essence the eighth chapter of the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So, and then we'll continue with chapter number 9. So let's begin with prayers. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnana Anjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी निधि नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रधायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरद्विषे नमः वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयति गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यमीश्वरं हरिः ओं तत्सत् गुरवे गौरचन्द्राय राधिकायै तरालये कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः. Hare Krishna. Dear devotees, Dandavat pranams. Now we are continuing from chapter number 17. We're seeing how Queen Kunti is first talking about all of the various instances where Lord Sri Krishna helped her and the Pandavas. And then Queen Kunti is asking that, now Krishna, you want to go back to Dwaraka because all of the problems are sorted out here. Yudhishthira Maharaj has become the king of Hastinapura. And then what happens? Kunti Maharani is saying, if more and more troubles come, we're able to remember you more and more, and you are with us during times of difficulty. So if that be the case, may more and more troubles come to me. And in that way, we always remember you, O Lord Sri Krishna. So this is the kind of prayer that is made by Kunti Devi. Right? Now let's continue from chapter number 17. This chapter is entitled Lightening the Burden of the World. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Bharavataranayanyi bhuvo nava ivo dadhau sidantya bhuri bharena jato hi atma bhuvartitaha. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Others say that the world being overburdened like a boat at sea is much aggrieved, and that Brahma, who is your son, prayed for you, and so you have appeared to diminish the trouble. This is Srimad Bhagavatam 1.8.34. Okay, Shobha Mataji, go ahead. Brahma is directly the son of the Supreme Lord.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam Mataji, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Brahma is directly the son of the Supreme Lord, the Supreme Father, and was not put into the womb of a mother. Therefore, he is known as Atma Bhu. This Brahma is in charge of further creations in the universe, secondarily reflected by the potency of the omnipotent. Within the halo of the universe, there is a transcendental planet known as Shvetadipa, which is the abode of Kshirodakashayi Vishnu, the Paramatma feature of the Supreme Lord. Whenever there is trouble in the universe that cannot be solved by the administrative demigods, they approach Brahmaji for a solution. And if it is not to be solved even by Brahmaji, then Brahmaji consults with and prays to the Kshirodakashayi Vishnu for an incarnation and solution to the problem. Such a problem arose when Kamsa and others were ruling over the earth, and earth became too much overburdened by the misdeeds of the Asuras. Brahmaji, along with other demigods, prayed at the shore of the Kshirodaka ocean, and they were advised of the descent of Krishna as the son of Vasudeva and Devaki. So, some people play that the Lord appeared because of the prayers of Brahmaji. Kunti Devi is describing the different statements of different persons about why Krishna appears. Some say that he appeared at the request of Vasudeva and Devaki, and some say he appeared at the request of Brahma. Bharata Vattara Anye
Bhuvo Nava Ivo Dadau.
Varavakharanye Bhuvo Nana Ivothadau. Some say that he appeared just to reduce the burden of the world, which was overburdened like a boat at sea. When the world is overburdened, there must be a war, pestilence, famine, epidemics, and so on. This is nature's law. The earth floats in space among many millions of other planets, all of them bearing huge mountains and oceans. It floats because Krishna enters into it, and as stated in Bhagavad Gita, Gham Avishya, just as he enters the atom. The earth is certainly not weightless, rather, it is very heavy, but it floats because the Supreme Spirit is within it. Everything is lightened by the presence of Spirit. One's body will float in water as long as one is alive, but as soon as the spirit soul leaves, the body immediately sinks. As long as a child is alive, we can take it along by one's hand, but when the child is dead, it is heavy. So now we are heavy, but when we are spiritually advanced, we will be free from impediments. Now we cannot fly in the air, but the spirit soul is so light that when freed from the body, it can go within a second to Vaikuntha Loka, the spiritual world. Tyaktva deham punarjanma naitimam eti. When they does the world become overloaded, it becomes overloaded due to the presence of demons, those who are against devotional service. When Mother Earth feels this load to be too heavy, Krishna comes just to unburden the earth. If a ship is overloaded, its position is very dangerous, for it may sink at any moment. Therefore, when Mother Earth felt too uncomfortable because of being overloaded with demons, Siddhante Bhuri Bharena, she approached Brahma, the chief living being within this universe. When there is a need, the chief personalities in the universe approach Brahma. When approach Vishnu to ask that he reduce whatever the burden is, the Vishnu or Krishna appears as an incarnation, as stated in Bhagavad Gita 4.7. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyuktanam adharmasya tatamanam srujamyaham. Whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice, O descendant of Bharata, and a prominent rise of religion, at that time I descend myself. When there is too much lawlessness and there are too many criminals, the state becomes overburdened and disturbed, and the state administrators are puzzled about what to do. Similarly, when the world is overrun by demons and atheists, they create a burden on the demigods. The pious administrators of the universe become perplexed. When the people of the state abide by the laws, administration is easy. But if people are criminals, they overburden the state administrators. A similar situation sometimes upsets the balance of the cosmic affairs of this material world. Both the demons and the demigods always exist. But when the demoniac power increases, the world is overburdened. It is then that the demigods approach Lord Brahma for assistance. Lord Brahma is one
Hare
of the
Krishna. Thank you,
12
Mataji.
authorities known as Hari Bol. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. Yeah, so we all know this very famous verse. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyuttanam dharmasya tadatmanam srujamyaham. So in that way, it said Brahmaji goes to the Shweta Dvipa and along with the demigods, and they all chant the Purusha Shukta prayers. That's what is given in the Krishna book, right? So they all chant the Purusha Shukta prayers, and then the Lord speaks from the Shweta Dvipa. Karanakasha Vishnu, he speaks. And none of them are able to see. Even Brahmaji is the only person who is able to even hear the voice of Shweta Dvipa. The Vishnu is situated in Shweta Dvipa, right? Karanodakashai, Kshirodakashai Vishnu. Kshira means it's a milk ocean. So you go to this milk ocean and then they chant prayers and glorification of the Lord. When the earth is overburdened, then Bhumi Mata also takes the form of a cow. She goes to Brahmaji. Brahmaji is not able to help. Then Brahmaji, along with the demigods and the earth in the form of cow, they all go and do, chant the Purusha Shukta prayers. And in this way, when the chanting is done, only Brahma is able to hear the voice of Kshirodakashaya Vishnu, saying that I will appear. And there are so many reasons why the Lord appears, right? It is because of the prayers of Devaki Vasudeva, because he wanted Krishna as their son. It is also the prayers of Brahmaji and Mother Earth, because the earth was overburdened. So like that, so many reasons can be there. And when the Lord appears also, he satisfies so many purposes. Right? So when the killing of the demon automatically happens, then paritranaya sadhuna vinashaya chatuskrita and dharma samsthapanarthaya, right? Dharma gets established, the demons are vanquished, The devotees experiences a loving reciprocation with the Lord whenever the Lord incarnates. So in this way, several purposes are automatically fulfilled when the Supreme Personality of Godhead actually appears in this planet. So like this, Kunti Maharani is glorifying the Supreme Personality of Godhead about the glorious appearance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay. Then Lord Brahma is one of, okay, Karpaguli Mataji, go ahead.
Thank you, Mataji. Nadatna Mataji.
Dandavat Pranam.
When Brahma is one of the 12 authorities known as Dwadasa Mahajana, Swayambir Narada Sambhu,
Kumaraha
Kaurava
Kapilo
Kabila
Prabhu, Prahlado Janako
Manuho,
Bhishmo,
Prahlado Janako Bhishmo,
Balir Vaiyasakir Vayam.
Balir Vaiyasakir Vyam. Bhagavatam 6.3.20. We have to follow the Mahajanas, the great authorities, if we want to receive transcendental knowledge. The Vedic injunction is Tat Vijnanartham Sa Garum
Guru Merit.
Vyabhigashtim. Vijnanatam Sa Gurim Vyabhigashtim. If one wants to be in knowledge of everything, one must approach a guru, a bona fide authority, a spiritual master. The original guru is Krishna. As Krishna taught Arjuna, he also taught Brahma, as stated in Srimad Bhagavatam, Dene Brahma Hridaye Adi Kavya. The Srimad Bhagavatam describes the original source of the creation, and this should be the actual subject matter for our research work. What is the original source of creation? Janmedi Asya Yataha. The original source of everything is the source of Janma, Sthiti and Pralaya, creation, maintenance, and dissolution. Our body is also taken birth at a certain stage. It lasts for some years, 10 years, 20 years, 50 years, and whatever according to the body, then it will be finished. Where did this body come from? And when did it destroyed? Where will it go? There are scientific laws concerning the conversion and energy. What is the source of that energy? What is the source?
There is a source.
Imam Budani Jayat. There is a source. Yatova Imani Bhutani Jayanti. And that is the source is identified in Srimad Bhagavatam. The source is not blind. That source is not blind. Rascals think that everything had come from nothing. But how can something come out of nothing? There is no proof that such a thing happens. But fools claim that it does, and therefore they are blind. What is the nature of the original source from whom everything has come, in whom everything exists, and within whom everything will enter? The Bhagavatam 1.1.1 says, Janmedi Asya Yado Nayad Itaras
Teshva Abhijna Swarat.
Abhyan Surat. The word Abhyan, Abhinaya, indicates that the source of everything is completely conscious. The word jnana means knowledge, and abhi means specific. We have inadequate knowledge of where we have come from and where we shall go after death, and therefore we are not abhijnana, supremely conscious. But the supreme knowledge is abhijna. He is not stone or a void. How could he be? The creation itself is evidence of the consciousness of supreme. Everyone can appreciate the cosmic manifestation and how nicely it is working. The sun and moon rise exactly on time without deviating even 1/10,000th of a second. And the seasons change in the same way, bringing with them the fruits and flowers. In this way, the entire cosmic manifestation is going on in a very orderly, systemic way. So unless there is some abhijna, some very clever intelligent who knows everything, how could all this have been created? Some people say that all this has come from nothing. What is that nonsense? Can such a creation come from nothing? Does this idea show a very good reasoning? The Bhagavatam says no. The Bhagavatam tells us that everything comes from the person who is abhijnana. Every very intelligent and experienced, and the original intelligent person transmitted knowledge to the Adi Kavi, the original created being, the Lord Brahma. Dene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kavya. The Brahma, the original created being, as an original source and he is in contact with that source. We understand that we get knowledge from another person with whom we are face to face. But when Brahma was created, he was alone. Therefore, how did he receive knowledge? That is explained in Bhagavatam. Teni Brahma Hridaya. The word Hridaya means through the heart. The Supreme Person, Paramatma, is within the heart of every living being, including Brahma. Therefore, although Brahma was alone, he received knowledge dictated by the Supreme. The word Brahma means Vedic knowledge. This is the Vedic knowledge which was given first with Lord Brahma. The Vedic knowledge is given to everyone because Krishna is within everyone's heart. Sarvasya chaham
Hridi
hridi
Sannivishto.
sannimishtaha. But one must be qualified to receive that knowledge. Krishna helps us by giving us knowledge both from being within as well as the super soul, Chaitya Guru, and from without as the spiritual master. Brahma receives knowledge from the Krishna and distributes that Vedic knowledge, and therefore he is an authority. There are four sampradayas or chains of disciplic succession through which Vedic knowledge is distributed. One from Brahma, one from Lakshmi, one from Shiva, Lord Shiva, and one from the four Kumaras. We have to approach an authoritative representative of Krishna appearing in one of these sampradayas, and then we can receive real knowledge. Thus, the earth personified approach Brahma, who prayed to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The world is now overburdened with demons, and therefore I request you to appear. Some say, therefore, the Lord appeared at the request of Brahma, that he lightened the burden of the world. When Krishna appears, he protects the devotees and kills the demons. Therefore, Krishna is in his Narayana form has 4 hands. In his 2 hands, he holds a disc and the club with which to kill the demons, and in the other 2 hands, he holds the conch shell and a lotus with which he to bless and protect the devotees. The Lord says, Kaunteya pratignyani nami bhakti pranashati.
Nashyati.
Thus Krishna pranashyati. Thus Krishna buggles with his counsel, my devotees will never be vanquished. And with this lotus flower, he extends his blessing. The lotus flower with sometimes also appears in the hands of Lakshmi. It's a symbol of blessing. In some way, some may say that Krishna appeared for that purpose or that purpose, but the real conclusion is that Krishna appears for his own pleasure, not because he is bound by any other cause. We can take our birth because we are bound by our karmas. But Krishna, being fully independent, does not come because of someone else's request or because of karma. Rather, he comes by his own free will, Atma Maya. We are compelled to take birth because of Krishna's external material energy. Krishna is not controlled by the Maya or energy or anyone else. And therefore, he does not take birth in such a condition. Maya, the illusory energy, is under the control of Krishna. How could Maya control him? One who thinks of Krishna like us is controlled by Maya is described in Bhagavad Gita as Muda, a fool. Avijñātim
Jananti
Muda
ma. Manushim tanum
Vayanati
architam.
Mamuda Manusham Tam Arsitam. Krishna is the original Narayana, the original source of the entire cosmic manifestation. Brahma, the first living being born just after the creation, is the direct son of Narayana, who, as Garbhodaksha Sai Vishnu, first entered the material universe. Without spiritual contact, material cannot create. Those who are seeking the original cause of the material creation should know that the creation takes place when the spirit soul is present. Matter is activated by the spirit soul. It is not that the soul is created by matter.
Hare
According to
Krishna.
the
Thank you,
Buddhist
Mataji.
theory.
Hari bol,
Thank you,
Danat
ma'am.
Pranam. Thank you. So,
Thank you.
we all know, right, how this material world got created, right? The initially by the glance of Lord Vishnu on Rama Devi, right? And that glance is described as Lord Shiva, right? And because of that, the entire Mahatattva, everything was created. And then Brahmaji, what did he do? He used the earth, water, fire, air, ether, and he created all of these Jada Tattvas, right? But it is only by the glance of the Lord that ultimately what happened? Ultimately, the living force or the life force got injected into the Mahatattva. Otherwise, Mahatattva is lifeless, right? And there are all jivas who have gone into the womb or into the body of Garbhada Kushaya Vishnu. They all have to be released, and they are all released by the glance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is giving the living force or the life force for this material world, which is completely jada, to operate, right? So that original Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govindaha Sarvakarana Karanam, that Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the cause of all causes, is activating the matter by the spirit soul, right? And that spirit soul is infinitesimal is Jiva, and infinite is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna himself, like that. Okay, according to the Buddhist theory, Deval Mataji, go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji. One minute. Yeah.
According to the Buddhist theory,
according to the Buddhist theory, the living force, the living energy we all have is created by material conditions. At the present moment, the entire world is influenced by this Buddhist theory. The actual fact, however, is that matter develops because of the presence of the living force. We can understand this very easily. After a child is born, he grows and his body develops. But if the child is born dead, if the spirit soul is not present, the body will not develop. Therefore, the spirit is the basis for the development of matter and not vice versa. Why does a dead child not grow? Because the spirit is not present. A tree grows as long as there is life in it. If we sow small seed of a banyan tree in good soil and favor it with water, it will grow because the spirit soul is present. But if we were to fry such a seed in fire and then sow it, it would fail to grow because the spirit soul would not be there. Matter grows and develops because of the presence of the spirit soul. And this principle has been followed from the very beginning of the creation. At the beginning of creation, the Supreme Spirit entered the universe, and the first living being, Brahma, was born on a lotus flower grown from the transcendental abdomen of Vishnu. Accepting that the lotus on which Brahma was born is matter, we should understand that it is also grown from spirit. Therefore, spirit is the basis of creation. Because the lotus flower on which Lord Brahma is born is grown from the navel of Vishnu, Lord Vishnu is known as Padmanabha. Brahma is known as Atmabhi because he was begotten directly from the father, Narayana or Vishnu, without the contact of Mother Lakshmiji. Lakshmiji was present near Narayana, engaged in the service of the Lord, but still without contact with Lakshmiji, Narayana begot Brahma. That is the omnipotency of the Lord. When we want to beget a child, we need the help of a wife because we cannot beget a child alone. But Krishna, Lord Vishnu, produced Lord Brahma without the help of his wife, Lakshmi, although she was present because he is not dependent on anything. One who foolishly considers Narayana to be like other living beings should take a lesson from this. The Vedic literature forbids one to think that other living beings are on an equal level with Narayana. Yastu Narayanam Devam Brahman Rudradi Daivataihi Samatvenaiva Viksheta Sapashandi Bhave Dhruvam. Someone has invented the word Daridra Narayana, trying to show that Narayana has become poor and that the beggar who comes to my door to beg is also Narayana. This is not authorized in the Vedic literature. Narayana is the master of Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune, and only fools think that he somehow becomes poverty-stricken. Rascals say that Narayana, Brahma, Shiva, all the demigods, you, I, and everyone else are all on the same level. This is foolishness. Narayana is a Samurtava. This means that no one can be equal to or greater than him. Therefore, Krishna himself, the original Narayana, says in Bhagavad Gita, Mata Parataram Nanyat. There is no one superior to me, nor is anyone equal to him. The word Asamma means that no one is equal to him, and Anurdhva means that no one is greater than him. This is the position of the Lord. Narayana is not an ordinary living being. He is the personality of Godhead himself, and he has all the potencies of all the senses in all parts of his transcendental body. An ordinary living being begets a child by sexual intercourse and has no other means to beget a child than the one designed for him. But Narayana is all powerful, and therefore he can beget a child from his navel. Every part of his body has full potency as explained in Brahma Samhita 5.32. Angan yasya sakalendriya vittamani. For example, I can see with my eyes, but Krishna can also eat with his eyes. Foolish rascals will say, "You are offering food to Krishna, but what has he eaten? It is still here. He has not eaten anything." Such people do not know that Krishna can eat just by seeing, for he can do anything with any part of his transcendental body. When a washerman refused to supply cloths to Krishna in Mathura, Lord Krishna displayed his transcendental potency by cutting off the man's head with his hand. How was this possible? It was possible by the Lord's omnipotence. The Lord is complete and independent to do anything and everything. By his various potencies, this is explained in the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam by the word Abhijnya, Swaraj. The word Swarat indicates that he is self-sufficient, not dependent on anyone. This is the qualification of God. Nowadays, there are so many self-proclaimed incarnations of God, but as soon as they have some toothache, they immediately say, "Ooh, doctor, help me, save me. If you are God, save yourself. Why go to a doctor?" Such people are rascals, and they make it very difficult to spread Krishna consciousness. The whole world is now overburdened by such rascals and demons, and therefore the atom bomb is waiting for them by the will of the Supreme. Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you. Dharanam.
Hare Krishna, Dhanat Pranam. So, wherever there is a rise in a religion, right? What is that verse? Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata. Right? Then to re-establish the principles of dharma, the Lord incarnates again and again. And then we see in the next verse itself, it says paritranaya sadhuna. Right? Dharma samsthapanarthaya. So the main purpose of Lord Krishna's incarnation is by his own will. He wants to enjoy the association of his devotees. And the other subsidiary reasons are that to kill and annihilate the demons, to establish dharma in the world, to establish peace in the world, etc. Right? And why does the Lord need to come? The Lord needs to come because it's the Lord's own will and the pleasure of the Lord. Right? Otherwise, the Lord simply needs to induce some kind of COVID or a famine or a flood. And so many living entities who are supposed to die will die in that pandemic, right? So, but Krishna decides to come mainly to make us attracted towards Lord Shri Krishna, right? Mata paratram na anyat kinchit asti dhananjaya. So Krishna tells Arjuna, Mata paratram na anyat. There is nobody like me, right? And Krishna is also described as asamordhva. Asamordhva means somebody who has no sama, who has no one equal to him. And urdhva. Urdhva means, the tilak that we're wearing is urdhva. That means it's going up. It's not like the Shaivat tilak, which is horizontal. It is going up, right? So that nobody is. That's why it's called Urdhva Pundra Tilak, right? It's going up. So similarly, there is nobody who is higher than the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And that's why he is called Asamurdhva, right? There is nobody equal to the Lord and nobody greater than the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna. So when we understand this, then we understand that the first verse of the Bhagavad Gita, right? Which are very beautifully explained. The important key words of that verse is explained here. Abhijna Swarat Janmadi Asya Yataha. The source of everything is Krishna himself. Janma Adi. The source of everything, of this Janma, of this creation in this material world, of this Srishti Sthiti Pralaya Sadhana Shakti Rekha. Right? Durga Devi is actually taking care of this entire universe, but she is also operating under the supervision of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this Srishti, Sthiti and Pralaya, the maintenance, Srishti means creation, Sthiti means maintenance, Pralaya means destruction. All of them are taking place by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is Lord Sri Krishna. And if anybody claims to be Lord Sri Krishna, then Prabhupada is told elsewhere how we can ask him to show their universal form. We can ask him to lift the Govardhan hill with a small finger of their left hand. Right? In this way, the Lord has performed uncommon pastimes. And more importantly, the Lord's incarnations are all mentioned in the Vedic scriptures. Nobody can become God simply by performing some magical feats or by performing some kind of acrobatics, becoming smaller than the smallest, higher than the highest, etc. Right? The Lord is Lord in all circumstances and is not determined as Lord depending on some magic that they do. Right? It is all given in the scriptures and the Shastras. You go by Guru, Shastra and Sadhu. Okay, let's continue. Chapter number 18, Liberation from Ignorance and Suffering. Bhaveshmin klishyamananam avidya kama karma bhi shravana smaranarhani karishyan iti kechana. And yet others say that you appeared to rejuvenate the devotional service of Shravanam, hearing, what is that? Smaranam, remembering, Arhani, worshipping. And so, in order that the conditioned souls suffering from material pangs might take advantage and gain liberation, right? So, what are the three things that I mentioned here very beautifully? The three things that I mentioned here are Shravanam, Smaranam, and Arhani. That means we need to hear about the Lord, we need to remember the Lord always, and we need to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Srimad Bhagavatam 1.8.35. Okay, Srimati Shampriya Mataji, please read, and then Kishori Mataji can read. How many minutes?
Hare
8
Krishna,
minutes are
Mataji.
there. Yeah. Yes, Mataji, go ahead.
Hare Krishna. In the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, the Lord asserts that he appears in every millennium just to re-establish the way of religion. The way of religion is made by Supreme Lord. No one can manufacture a new path of religion as is the fashion for certain ambitious persons. The factual way of religion is to accept the Lord as a supreme authority and thus render service unto him in spontaneous love. A living being cannot help but render service because he is constitutionally made for that purpose. The only function of the living being is to render service to the Lord. The Lord is great, and living beings are subordinate to him. And therefore, the duty of the living being is just to serve him only. Unfortunately, the illusion living beings, out of misunderstanding only, become servants of the senses by material desire. This desire is called avidya or nescience, and out of such desire, the living beings make different plans for material enjoyment centered about a perverted sex life. He therefore becomes entangled in a chain of birth and death by transmigrating into different bodies on different planets under the direction of the Supreme Lord. Unless, therefore, one is beyond the boundary of this nescience, one cannot get free from the threshold threefold miseries of material life. That is the law of nature.
Okay, Mataji. Thank you,
Lord,
Mataji.
however,
Drink some water. I mean, you've not yet recovered. Okay. Now, Kishori Mataji, go ahead. Take rest, Mataji. Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Pranams.
Dandot Pranam, Mataji. Thank you. The Mataji,
Lord,
should I read from?
the
Sorry.
Lord, however, out of his causeless mercy,
Okay. Thank you, Mataji. The Lord, however, out of his causeless mercy, because he is more merciful to the suffering living beings than they can expect, appears before them and renovate the principles of devotional service comprised of hearing, chanting, remembering, serving, worshipping, praying, cooperating, and surrendering unto him. Adoption of all the above mentioned items or any one of them can help a conditioned soul get out of his get out of the tangle
tangle
of
of the
science and thus become liberated from all material suffering created by the living being, illusioned by the external energy. This particular type of mercy is bestowed upon the living being by the Lord in the form of the Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In this very important verse, the word bhave means in this material world. Word bhava also means grow, and it refers to that which has taken birth. In the material world, there are 6 kind of changes. First, there is birth, then growth, then that which has been born and has grown stage for sometimes produce some byproduct and then dwindles and finally vanishes. The 6 changes, the 6 changes are called Sada Vikara.
Shad
The body for sorry, Mataji.
Shad Vikara.
Sadvikara. Oh, thank you, Mataji. The body, for example, take birth at a certain date, and disease grows and stage for sometimes. From the body come so many byproducts in the form of sons and daughters, and then the body become old and weak, and finally when it is very old, it dies. But when the body is finished, I am not finished. When the gross body comes to the end, I am still present within the subtle body of mind, intelligence, and false ego, and this subtle body carries me to another gross body. Although everyone has to accept a subtle body, the scientists and medical men cannot see it. I have a mind and you have a mind, but I cannot see your mind and you cannot see mine. I have intelligence and you have intelligence, but you cannot see my intelligence nor I can see yours because they are very subtle. Similarly, the spirit soul is still more subtle. So, what will the materialistic scientists see of it? They cannot see the mind, intelligence, or false ego. What to speak of the soul? Therefore, they say the body is everything and there is nothing more. Actually, however, that is not a fact. The fact is that the spirit soul is very, very small. Balagra Sata Bhagyasya Satada Satada
Kalpitasya cha.
Kalpitasya cha. Svetashara Upanishad 5.9. The soul is 1,000 the size of the tip of a hair. Suppose we were to take a hair and divide into 100 parts. Could we do that? Could we do it? No, that is not possible. But if we could do it and then divide it again into another 100 parts, and each part would be the size of the spirit soul. Of course,
Okay.
this is
Thank
not
you, Mataji.
possible.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna, Mataji. Thank you,
Thank you.
Mataji.
Dandavad
Dandavad.
pranam. We have time only for that much today. So, so this is what is Srila Prabhupada trying to establish here? Talking about the subtlety of the soul, right? The soul is about the, when you divide a hair particle, 1,000th particle of the tip of the hair, that is the size of the soul. So those people who want to see and understand everything, right? This is a lesson for all of them, that when we can't even see our mind, our intelligence, then how are we going to see our soul, which is about 1/10,000th tip of the particle of a hair, right? So it is not possible to see ourselves. How is it possible to see the Supreme Lord, who is the source of all of the jivas, who is the super soul, who is present in every soul, and in the heart of every jiva as a Paramatma. So we should not try to see God, like Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says. We should not try to see God, but we should behave and work in such a way that the God wants to see us. When the Lord wants to see us, then by His mercy we'll also be able to understand the Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leelas of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Shri Harinam Prabhu ki jai. And Harinam Sankirtan is a prescribed process in this age of Kali to be able to understand Lord Shri Krishna as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has prescribed it for this age of Kali. So I'll request devotees, you can switch on your cameras as we sing 2-3 minutes of Harinam Sankirtan as we end the session. Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, teachings of Queen Kunti ki jai. We'll meet at 8 p.m. Indian Standard Time for our Kartik prayers. Today is day 8 prayers that we're going to do. So please do join us at 8 p.m. Indian Standard Time on the same Zoom ID. Thank you. Namo Om Vishnu Padhaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunnavadi Pasatyadishatarini Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare